Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Everybody! That was Blacks for Trump, according to their placards, leading the chants in Jim Acosta's direction in Tampa Bay last night, a big Trump rally.
And, of course, I'm concerned this morning for Jim Acosta's safety.
Well, that makes one of us. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump retweeted what his son Eric tweeted that out, and President Trump retweeted it. It's just he didn't do anything to stop it.
Well, why should he stop it?
Because I'm worried about his safety.
Yeah, I know. It's scary times. Jim Acosta is a national treasure that needs to be protected. CNN sucks. That is not synonymous with let's go beat up Jim Acosta. I know the D.C. press corps thinks so.
Though.
I know that's what they think. But it's just not. Andrea Mitchell, though, is also concerned about, not just Jim Acosta, but all of us because she's Andrea Mitchell.
And she's celebrating, by the way, 40 years in the business. Or she is being celebrated for her 40 years.
40 years, journalism for Andrea Mitchell. Animal House turns 40 this week. I'm not going to comment upon which has better stood the test of time. I won't do it. But Andrea Mitchell is going to comment about the climate that Trump is engendering as it pertains to violence against media types. This in a probing, thoughtful interview on The Daily Show.
Do you feel that in some way Donald Trump is encouraging people to have a hateful relationship with the media?
I don't connect the president at all with what happened at the Capitol Gazette in Annapolis. That was a horror, and it was completely, I would believe someone mentally deranged who went after that organization. So I don't think it's fair to blame him for that. But I do think that he has very deliberately set up the press as the enemy of the people. I don't feel that I am the enemy of the people, and it's not benign. I mean, this is a...
Yay. Clap, seals, clap.
This is something that we first heard from Joseph Stalin. This is very dangerous. It undercuts democracy.
So, Andrea Mitchell, in her measured, temperate manner, provided the perfect balance that she's done for 4 decades, Amy. On the one hand, hey, no, Trump is not responsible for the journalist murder in Annapolis. On the other hand, he's Joseph Stalin. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined again by Roger Kimball, who's the editor of The New Criterion and also a columnist for PJ Media and American Greatness. By the way, New Criterion, if you want to get away from just politics, they have political discourse, but the cultural offerings at New Criterion are excellent. You wouldn't think that I'm interested in culture by doing seal impersonations, but I actually am. And there's actually a great review of one of my favorite operas, Verdi's Falstaff, A Night Plays a Night, in the most recent issue of New Criterion. So for cultural offerings, I'd encourage you to check out New Criterion. Roger Kimball, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's great to be with you guys again. How are you?
So, do you think that Trump is using Stalinist tactics with respect to the media, and we should be providing more of a security detail for the folks over at CNN, like Jim Acosta?
Absolutely. I mean, I live in Connecticut, and I can see from my window here a gulag in which they're planning to put Jim Acosta and Andrea Mitchell and the rest of that frenzied fraternity. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's not even. If it didn't get so much traction because of this strange echo chamber that is created by ceaseless repetition, you would just laugh at it. But unfortunately, it's not. It's minatory as well as risible because this is where many people, alas, get their news, and so what it really has poisoned the well of our public discourse. And I notice that a lot of journalists are very exercised at Donald Trump's description of the media as the enemy of the people. But look at what they say about the president and people who work for him, who support him. I mean, what would you call someone who actually goes to a restaurant and harasses one of Donald Trump's employees? Why? Because he or she is Donald Trump's employee. And as far as violence goes, I mean, I think Steve Scalise is unavailable for comment at the moment.
But do you think, I mean, he's taking it too far? Because he didn't say to stop it, and then President Trump retweeted what his son had tweeted out that moment with Jim Acosta.
Yeah, so what is the question again? Do I think that Donald Trump has taken it too far?
Yeah.
No, I don't, frankly, because I think that the one of the distinguishing features of Donald Trump's rhetoric, that is to say, what distinguishes how he operates from previous presidents, especially previous Republican presidents, is that he actually responds to these assaults. Notice that Donald Trump, as far as I can remember, never initiates the aggressive rhetoric. He only responds to it. It's, somebody says, you're a racist, you're a xenophobe, you're a bigot, you're a sexist. He doesn't, roll up into a little ball and go into the corner and start whimpering the way many previous Republicans do, who want nothing except to keep the status quo. They just want to kind of sail on and make sure everybody is calm. Donald Trump doesn't do that because he has a very aggressive agenda that he wants to pursue. And he understands that the object of these attacks by the media, by protesters funded in many cases by people like George Soros or Tom Steyer, their goal is to delegitimize and ultimately to destroy his presidency. So I think that his rhetoric is eminently justified.
You had a good piece at American Greatness, amgreatness.com about Hillsdale College and Hillsdale College being targeted by Connor Friedersdorf over at The Atlantic for the high crime and or misdemeanor of inviting Mike Pence to address the commencement. I thought it's a great example of what we're talking about culturally. It's it's not as salacious as Sarah Huckabee Sanders being accosted at a restaurant, but it's of the same kind.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was a disgusting piece for this reason. It was clothed in a kind of nimbus of high purpose and deep concern. Long quotations from various anti-Trump pundits and long quotations from an interview between Hillsdale's president Larry Arnn and Hugh Hewitt. And the idea is, oh my gosh, do you think that Hillsdale is selling its soul to gain worldly good? I mean, after all, they invited the Vice President of the United States to give its commencement address. Can you believe it? That's horrible. I mean, all you have, he says, Mike Pence talked about principles and values and truth in his commencement address, but everyone knows that Donald Trump is not a moral man. Isn't there a contradiction here? I'd like to hear from students and alumni and faculty who agree with me. I noted that he didn't quote any of these people, and although some have subsequently come forward, as one would expect whenever you get an invitation to deliver dirt, there's always going to be some people who will do that. But all you have to do to discredit this piece is substitute the names of Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton. I mean, it's the idea that there's something uniquely morally tainted about Donald Trump or his vice president or people who work for him is preposterous. And it was a piece intended to do real damage to a institution that is well nigh unique on the American educational landscape. Here is an institution that conspicuously, deliberately, ostentatiously is trying to live up to the vision of this country enunciated by the founders. That is to say, liberty, ordered liberty, a concern for the Western humanistic tradition. They take not a cent of government money, which means that they are totally or almost totally emancipated from the smothering network of government regulation that has turned many, if not most, of our institutions of higher education into kind of consciousness-raising camps for social justice warriors. There's no Title IX on Hillsdale. There's no demand for safe spaces or freedom from microaggressions or triggering or any of that. It's just a small group of students who are pursuing a traditional humanistic education with an eye on what makes this country great. And
Well,
by the way,
yeah.
they don't. There's no apology for the fact that this is a great country and that the founding principles are things that are worthy to emulate and transmit to succeeding generations.
Well, in addition to that, not just the founding principles, the principles of Hillsdale's founders, who were abolitionists. Hillsdale, I think, has like the highest per capita of students who served and died fighting in the Civil War to abolish slavery. So that says something about the institution's founding in addition to their commitment to the nation's founding principles. And, it's also a sort of a commentary or an opportunity for a commentary on the state of higher education. Hillsdale College is one of the few campuses Mike Pence could even speak on.
Yes, that's quite right. So this is something that has been impressed upon me over and over again over the years, that the entire institution of higher education in this country is captive by the identity politics of the left. So here you have one little oasis, and they can't stand that. Oh my gosh, there's a college somewhere in the middle of the country with 1,400 students that does things differently from the way our masters in Washington tell us we have to do things. We have to stamp it out. I mean, I've had that experience at the New Criterion often. I mean, we're a small magazine, about 8,000, a circulation of about 8,000 people. But it's when we used to report on things like the Modern Language Association meetings, we gave that up several years ago now. They would go into a swivet. The left had all the universities, give or take one or two. They had the Modern Language Association, they had the media and so on, but it was intolerable to them that there should be this one voice out there criticizing them. You see the same thing with that despicable piece in the Atlantic magazine.
He is Roger Kimball, editor of the New Criterion and also columnist for PJ Media. You can also catch his work at amgreatness.com. Roger, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Great fun. Thanks, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.